During the 2008 Beijing Olympics, China was hit with a story that shocked the world: Chinese milk scandal. Chinese officials reported that, according to the Chinese Ministry of Health, as of December 2008, about 300,000 infants and children had fallen ill after consuming contaminated milk powder, with more than 50,000 cases of severe illness, and 6 infants had died of kidney failure. The actual number of people harmed was much higher than the government reported. Among the brands affected by this incident, Sanlu Group is the one that has attracted the most attention. Investigations showed that Sanlu brand infant milk powder contained high concentrations of melamine. Other dairy companies affected include Yili, Mengniu, Bright, and many other well-known brands. According to relevant reports, milk powder produced by 22 dairy product manufacturers nationwide was found to contain melamine. The heads of the victimized babies would become abnormally large. The reason is that the melamine added to the tainted milk powder reacts with other ingredients in the milk powder to form insoluble compounds, which accumulate in the baby's kidneys and lead to the formation of kidney stones. Kidney stones block the urinary tract, impairing kidney function and preventing the normal excretion of urine, resulting in the accumulation of wastes and fluids in the body. And the main function of the kidneys is to filter the wastes in the blood and excrete the excess fluid out of the body through urine. When kidney function is impaired, water and wastes in the body cannot be excreted normally, which will lead to fluid retention. Infants' bodies are particularly fragile, and water imbalances tend to affect the subcutaneous tissues and the head first, since the infant's head takes up a larger percentage of the body's volume. Why did those people in the company dare to do so? Do they not know the consequences of doing so? Because they think the benefits outweigh the risks. Several important factors in the production process of milk powder include the living environment of the cows, the milk powder processing technology, sanitary conditions, and equipment maintenance, nutritional content, and packaging and storage. If there were sufficient government resources to regulate each step of the process, this kind of tragedy would not have happened. Unfortunately, the reality is that China's regulatory agencies do not have enough funding to support them, because strict regulation means that most food is substandard and cannot be sold. But we see a wide variety of Chinese food, from snacks to gourmet food to street food, the world over. Are those all substandard? The answer is yes. Almost no food in China is safe. Let's talk back to the production of milk powder. You may understand. Cows in China do not have fresh grass to eat, only feed and milk powder production companies do not raise their own cows. They will be through the agent to find cattle farmers, from them to collect milk, and then resold to the enterprise. Due to the relationship between the interests of the agents, will continue to lower the price of milk. The government will not give almost any subsidies to dairy farmers. Dairy farmers, in order to save costs, can only reduce the quality of life of cows. The kind of low-cost feed, almost no nutrition, coupled with the low-cost feed, almost no nutrition, coupled with the low cost of feed and the quality of life of cows is not good. In order to save costs, dairy farmers can only reduce the quality of life of their cows. The cost of feed is very low, almost no nutrients. Coupled with lactation agent and other technological products, this kind of milk raw materials is waste. But in order to pass the test, dairy companies will be, for the testing process, selectively add various chemical elements to the milk powder and try to lower the cost of milk powder. And finally, Chinese babies drink to their mouths of milk powder is all a bunch of industrial raw materials and chemical additives. In China, even the milk powder for babies is like this. Can other food be safe? If the government strictly enforces the process of food safety testing, it means that the price of almost all food products will double, and the government's tax revenue will not increase as a result of this. But it will add a great deal to the cost of testing, and it will also make China's food products lose their competitiveness internationally, which is not cost effective for the government at all. But people in the government are also human beings. What will they eat? This is a very Chinese thing. Most civil servants in China have a stable and high income. They will choose food from international supermarkets with higher prices, while higher level government staff will regularly get special food, which is all safe, no fertilizers, no pesticides, and free of charge. This is one of the small reasons why the Chinese are so keen to chase power. After the tainted milk powder incident, almost all of China's milk companies were penalized, however. This did not change the bad situation. And in the following years, one after another, there were some reports about the lack of nutrients in the milk powder. And the fundamental problem was not solved, and it was only a matter of time before another accident occurred. After the tainted milk powder incident, more and more Chinese people stopped trusting Chinese milk powder brands and switched to more expensive imported milk powder. The government realized that if things went on like this, there would be a massive decrease in tax revenue. And while enterprises would close down, a large number of people would lose their jobs and the instability would increase. So the government developed some countermeasures and went abroad to acquire a large number of reputable milk powder companies. In 2019, China's Danone acquired Australia's Bellamy. In 2014, China's Modern Dairy bought New Zealand's White, a major producer of infant milk powder and dairy products. In the end, the government earns more than before, but a large number of ordinary people suffer. The Chinese government will not think about how to solve the problem from the root when it finds out the problem, because it doesn't need to, as long as it doesn't harm the government's income and doesn't cause large-scale social unrest. As for the interests of ordinary people is not a problem. They need to consider, because the Chinese government is not elected by ordinary people through the ballot box. And they don't have any weapons to check and balance the government. And the only thing ordinary people can do is to put up with it, join it, or run away, and nothing else. They have no weapons to check the government, and all the ordinary people can do is to endure, join, or run away. There is no other way.